So who doesn't love big ass dinosaurs, especially big dinosaurs that are rocking a bunch of battle armor? Today we're taking a look at the brand new dinosaur battlefield Ceratopside by AxeyToys. And I want to give a huge thank you to the folks over at AxeyToys for sending this out to me to take a look at. I really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting off with the packaging. As you can see here, the packaging does look very good. Mine did get crushed in shipment, unfortunately. It's not too bad, but it's all right. It does have this belt that comes off like this. So once we remove that, you're able to flip this open, and then that's where you see the figure. I wasn't even sure exactly which one I got until a couple of minutes ago. And as you can see, I got the gray one, so that's nice. Over here, we get some information about the world where these warriors go to war and battle each other and all that kind of stuff. On the back, we get a look at some of the other color variations of this figure. There's a red one, a yellow one, and then a gray one. And and a green one, it looks like. So that's cool. You have some different options. Not a whole lot going on with the packaging, although there is some really dope artwork right here in front. That's awesome. But yeah, the packaging's collector friendly and all that good stuff. But enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get this guy out and take a look. Alrighty, so here we have him right out of the box. And yeah, man, he's looking really good. AxeyToys always does a great job with these dinosaur warriors. They're all very well sculpted and they have incredible details on the armor. And that's definitely the case with this guy. So yeah, once again, they killed it. I like what they have going on with these dinosaurs. One thing I wish they would change though, is that each one of these, it doesn't really have like its own name or personality or anything like that. Like they're all just called whatever species they are. It would be fun if they kind of gave them their own names at least and maybe some like personalized biographies on the box. They do a good job of informing us of the world, but it'd be cool if these like soldiers and warriors felt like individual characters. But yeah, as far as like the actual figures go, they do a great job every time. And one thing that these things are known for is the amount of like customizing that you could do to the armor. They come with all kinds of different things that you could plug on there. And, it's a lot of fun to kind of make them unique by switching around the armor and doing it the way that you want. So that's fun. Right now, this is kind of like a bare bones version of him almost. I don't have any of that extra stuff on there. Even though he does have armor and everything, there's a lot more to add on here. I did throw on his tail and his horns, though. Those are not on him on the box, but I didn't want to show him. I wanted him to keep his dignity, I couldn't have him on here with no horns and no tail. That'd be crazy. But yeah, right out of the box, this is a very cool figure. Let me go ahead and plug on some of his additional armor just to show you how crazy you could get with everything here. And then here's a quick look at him decked out with all of his armor. And as you can see, we added some shoulder pads, a helmet. He's got this belt that has the knife sheath on it, but the knife sheath is kind of hanging crazy. I think I might bring it up through the top of the cape eventually. But yeah, speaking of the cape, he does come with a soft goods cape that does have a bendy wire in it. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, man, lots of cool things going on here. And again, it's very nice the way that you could kind of customize things and, make them how you want. Like, he's got all these little, I don't even know what to call them, but these little things that like plug into the armor and you could kind of like rearrange them and change them up or whatever and make them look unique, make the armor look like different if you have a couple of these, maybe like switch up where these little things go and kind of make it look like your own, So that's fun stuff. Just little subtle changes. And usually with these dinosaurs, AxeyToys puts a million of these little things in there. They showed some restraint this time. There's not a whole lot, So I mean, I like what's here because usually with the other dinosaur figures, they have all these little things and it's a little overwhelming. Like you open the packaging and there's like all these little baggies of teeth and spikes and horns and all types of crazy shit. They kept it pretty simple with this guy here. So I do appreciate that. But there's still enough there to kind of have some fun with. But yeah, man, this is a really dope looking figure. When he has all the armor on, he's crazy. Like all these dinosaurs are crazy. And AxeyToys always does a really great job with the sculpting and the detail work on their dinosaur figures. Taking a look at this guy starting off at the head, as you could see, he does have this really cool looking like warrior helmet. And this is awesome, man. Look at the texture on it. That is so cool. It kind of has like a little bit of a rough and rugged surface. And I think that's dope, man. And it does have like some details on there, like this thing here. We've got some rivets and some lines and different things like that. But yeah, man, I love the texture on this. It looks so cool. Like, they could have just made it smooth, but it looks so much better like this. Definitely looks like some, you know, battle armor. And then we have this thing on the top. I don't know what the hell that is, but yeah, it looks good, man. And I like how back here the helmet kind of looks like it's broken. We have some more details up here. I love how we could see the red eyes through the eye hole there. And then the helmet does have these flaps. I'm not really sure the purpose of these things, but you could flip them up like that and get a look at his face. And the helmet comes off very easily. You just have to remove the horns and then, you know, pops right off. And then for the horns, they go in easily. The peg is like a weird shape just so that it kind of like makes it to where you always have it in there correctly. It's not just a round peg that's going to be like pointing in weird directions. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of keyed in a certain way so that it always looks right when you plug them in. So that's good. Sometimes the horns can like get knocked off if you're a little rough with the figure, but I think for the most part the horns stay in there securely and they look really cool. The texture on the horns is really nice too. Definitely looks realistic. Man, look at the face on this guy. Look at the texture on the skin actually. It's really crazy. Look at this. And I love this red. It kind of looks like war paint or something. That's super dope. I don't know if it's supposed to be his skin or what, but it looks like war paint. And then we have like the little horns coming out of here. But look at the detail, man. That's crazy. Yeah, it looks incredible. Really dope looking head sculpt. And then, oh yeah, check out the red eye. I love that right there. And then look at the teeth. The teeth are really dope. They kind of look weird. They look a little realistic, you know, which is kind of funny on this dinosaur character. But what I really like about the teeth is that they're flat. And, you know, obviously this guy is a herbivore, so it makes a lot of sense that his teeth would be flat. So that's really cool that they did that. Then here on the nose, he kind of has like the beak thing going on. I think it's called a beak, right? I don't know. But yeah, man, the head sculpt on this guy is really nice. And then moving on to the rest of the figure with the armor, much like the helmet, all of the armor has this rough texture to it. And it just looks really cool. But look at all the crazy stuff that we have going on here. Oh, I love stuff like this, man. Little designs hidden in the armor. That's always cool to see. What else do we got going on here? Oh, here on the waist we have some cool stuff. Yeah, look at all that. The sculpting work on these things is incredible, man. I love when companies do armor like this and just go all out and go crazy and put little designs in there and all these little things that you could find when you're looking at the figure close, you know? Like, look in here. That's really dope. Oh, what do we got up here? Oh, this is nice too. Look at that. It's so clean and crisp. So dope, man. Take a look at the belt again. We have a little bit of like leather texture in there as well. And man, they do such a great job. Like, this is one piece right here. Most of it is supposed to be like a metal type of look. And then we have a little bit of a belt in there that's supposed to look like leather. And the metal and the leather are very close to each other, but they look very different. Like, they did a good job making sure those two type of textures look unique and different. So that's cool, man. Damn, this is dope. And then I forget what these things are called, but they look great too. Look at the paint work on them. They got some nice washes. And again, they just have a realistic leather type of texture. I love that kind of stuff. And then taking a look at the shin guards here. Again, just some, oh, this one's kind of crooked. There we go. Oh, they're both crooked. My bad. But yeah, this looks really good too. We have some like leaves in here representing the herbivore type of vibe that they have going. Again, some more leather straps on the back of the shin guards. Looks incredible, man. And then here's some more. Here's another look at some of the texture on the skin on the dinosaur. Oh, and then the cape is really nice too. It's a very nice like material. It's got a bendy wire in there, and it looks good. And I like the way they made it to where it plugs into the shoulder pads very easily. It stays out of the way. Oh, and then here's his knife sheath. The knife sheath and belt, like, he has an actual belt that you have to kind of like, you know, put together like a real belt. So it's kind of difficult because it's small, but once you get it in there, it's cool. But yeah, I can't really get the sheath to sit in a way that I like, so I'm gonna have to work on that. But the sheath looks really cool. Again, look at this, man. I love the combination of textures here. It's so cool. Then here's a look at his knife. Oh man, this is awesome. We'll look at his other weapons in a minute, but oh, this is crazy. Look at the details on that. Hopefully my lights aren't blowing it out, but that looks good. Wow, that's crazy. So super cool details on the knife, and then it goes into the sheath with no problem at all. So that's always good. But yeah, man, the details on this guy are incredible. I love the texture on the skin. And all the dinosaur parts look great, but the armor, the work they did on the armor is really, really impressive. There's some amazing sculpting work, and it just looks awesome. Like, I love so much about it. The metallic look, the rugged texture, the designs that are hidden in there. It's really, really incredible work. So AxeyToys did a great job with the details on him all the way around. In addition to the armor, the dagger, and all the other cool little things that we've already looked at, he does come with some more accessories, including 3 sets of hands. This is the first set here. It's kind of like a gripping hand, but he does have his, I guess, is this his index finger sticking up? He does have one of his fingers sticking up. All 3 sets of hands look like they can be used as gripping hands. So yeah, no fists or open hands or anything like that. But this is the first set, and I do like how the fingers are up. It definitely gives a little bit more personality compared to some of the other ones. And then here's the second set of gripping hands. And then here's the final set of gripping hands. And these gripping hands look very similar to the previous set, except these ones may be a little more open. So this is like a looser grip, and the other one's like a tighter grip. So yeah, he does have 3 gripping hands. I mean, it feels kind of redundant, I guess. Like, it would be cool to get some other types of hands, but I will say these hands work a little better than some of the hands on their previous dinosaur figures. That's one problem I've had with these things sometimes, is that, like, they're not really able to hold the weapons really well. And these hands aren't perfect, but they definitely hold the weapons better than some of the previous dinosaur figures. And then as far as additional weapons go, he does come with this really cool looking spear, and this thing is really dope. But as you can see, he's able to hold onto it, and it's not like a perfect grip, but at least it stays in there securely. You don't have to worry about it falling out or sliding around. That's been the case with some of the previous AxeyToys dinosaurs, so they definitely improved in that regard. But yeah, this is cool, man. This is a great looking spear with some really cool details. And what's insane about this thing is that the shaft is actually metal, and then the grip right here actually slides, so you could kind of like change the position and everything. And something I just noticed, check out the spearheads, they're leaves. So I really love that they made vegetation and the fact that these are herbivores such a big like concept throughout the design of the figure and his weapons and stuff. So that's really dope, man. And then check out the details on the actual spear. It's got the let's get it out of his hand. We have some nice sculpting design work right here. The grip kind of matches his tassel things from his waist, so that's nice. Got a little bit of paint rub on there, but not a big deal. But yeah, man, this thing is cool. And then here's this. Oh, this spear doesn't have the leaf concept. So yeah, man, that's really cool. I like that a lot. That's a cool little detail to throw in here. But this spear is really dope, man. This thing, it could jack you up. You don't have to worry about it getting bent or messed up. It's like a solid piece of metal. And then for the final and probably the coolest accessory that he comes with, he has this really dope looking shield. And check this thing out, man. There's some incredible detail on there, just like on the rest of the figure. They did a great job sculpting all this stuff, like all the little details and emblems and everything. All of this looks amazing. And this right here is a separate piece, so you could unplug it, and, you know, if you want to put something else there, you probably can. But yeah, so it just plugs in like that. So that's cool. But the coolest thing about this shield is the arrows that you're able to stick into the front of it. So we have all these different types of arrows. We have like some complete ones, some broken ones, some of these that don't have like the ends on them. And you're able to just stick the arrows into holes on the front of the shield. And the holes are pretty tight. Like, once they're in there, it's gonna be hard to get these things in and out. It's actually kind of hard to get them in there in the first place. So you want to be careful when you're applying pressure, not to break them, you know. But yeah, this is so cool, man. This looks awesome. It'll be cool to have like a couple of these, have them lined up with these things, like, you know, protecting them with the arrows in them. Yeah, that's really dope. And he's able to hold on to the shield with no problem. It has like this handle, right? And this handle is cool, you know, that just plugs into the shield right there. So that all works really nice. But then there's also this handle, and I can't figure out what the hell to do with this handle. So there are these little like tabs on the inside, but the handle, it like doesn't attach to them or anything. It kind of seems like they should just snap on or something, but they don't. I don't know if this was made incorrectly or what the hell happened here, but you know, you could put the handle. Oh, I have it going the wrong way. My bad. There we go. Yeah, but see, like, it's supposed to go in here like this, but it doesn't stay at all. Like, it doesn't click on there. There's no magnets or anything holding it in place. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's supposed to happen here. Like, it doesn't stay on there at all. So that's one thing that's kind of weird. I don't know what's up with that. But, you know, thankfully, he does have, like, this handle that holds onto the shield nicely with no issue. So, you know, that's perfectly fine. I don't need that other handle. But yeah, man, this shield is incredible. This thing is so dope. I love the arrows and all the amazing sculpting work on there. Okay, so now for some quick size comparisons. Here we have him alongside some of the other AxeyToys Dinosaurs figures. Over here we have the big body T-Rex. I think it's a T-Rex. I'm not sure what kind of dinosaur this is, but this is the body that they kind of started off the line with. They've released a couple of different dinosaurs on this body, and man, they've been killing it with this whole line. I love the fact that AxeyToys has given us different body types for the different species of dinosaur. I think that's super cool, and they're killing it with this whole thing. I love the concept. It fits in with like other lines out there like Savage Crucible or Mythic Legions or whatever, and at the same time they feel very original and unique. So they're doing some good work, and you know, who doesn't love dinosaurs? And now they've kind of like given us these crazy versions with a bunch of articulation and cool armor and some amazing sculpting work. So yeah, I like what they have going on with this whole line. And then next up, we have him alongside one of the Mythrol Studios Guardians of the Horde Ogres. On the opposite side, we have the AxeyToys Panda Warrior. Next, we have him alongside the Mythic Legions Sir Elijah by the Four Horsemen. On the opposite side, we have the figure Obscura Frankenstein's Monster by the Four Horsemen. And then next up, we have him alongside the NECA Mirage Comics Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles General Zog. On the opposite side, we have the NECA Ninja Turtles Mirage Comics, I want to say Triceraton Gladiator or something like that. But these all look really cool together. And then last but not least, we have the Dinosaur alongside the most important figures in my collection. Over here, we have my original character, Odious from Unparalleled Universe. This figure is available now. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description as well as in the pinned comments. On the opposite side, we have the NECA Mirage Comics Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Kirby, aka the King Jack Kirby. And before we jump into the articulation, here's a very quick look at our dinosaur guy with all of his armor taken off. And as you can see, it's a really cool looking figure. I like the texture of the skin. It definitely has that reptile, scaly kind of look. I like the different shades of gray that we have on there. The red looks really cool too. Those red markings kind of look like tattoos or something. I know they're part of his skin, but they kind of look like tattoos, so that's very cool. But yeah, man, it's a great looking figure. And it's very easy to get all of the armor off. You just pop things apart. You could pop his feet off and slide off the shin guards, pop the hands off, slide off the forearm guards, pop them off at the torso, and then you're able to, you know, slide off the belt piece. The upper chest thing is magnetic, so that comes off easily. Yeah, everything comes off really nicely. I didn't have to warm anything up, which is a first. A lot of times with AxeyToys, I have to like soak them in hot water in order to get the hands or the feet soft enough for them to come off. But for this guy, everything came right off, so that's very cool. So check this out. I was trying to pop everything apart so that I could remove the armor, and when I was pulling on the foot, it kind of came apart right here. And at first I thought like, oh man, I think I broke it. But I don't think that's the case, because look at this. Got like this piece here, and it just kind of pops on there nicely. And it comes off easily. So I wonder if they did that to avoid stressing out the peg on the inside of here, you know? Because the peg has to be kind of thick for the foot and the weight of the body and stuff like that. You don't want like a super thin peg in there that's not going to hold the figure up. So maybe they wanted to keep it like a big thick peg, but still wanted to make it easy to pop in and out. So yeah, this is kind of interesting. So like I said, at first I thought I broke it, and then it turns out that's not the case. And you could like pop all this back together really easily. It's way easier than a foot. Like, I've had a lot of trouble with the AxeyToys dinosaurs' feet in the past, like trying to pop them apart and, you know, heat them up and do all that stuff. I haven't had to heat up anything on this figure so far, so that's kind of cool. And you know, as much as I like the armor that comes with these figures, I've got to say, honestly, I kind of enjoy these dinosaurs from AxeyToys a little more without the armor. Like, the armor is great. Like, they do such a phenomenal job with the details and everything. But for me, you know, I like to play around with my figures, pose them, handle them, all that kind of stuff. It's a little hard to do those types of things with that armor. Not really because it hinders a lot of the articulation or anything, but it's just a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of floating pieces and big old armor shoulder pads and this and that. There's all kinds of stuff there, so it just kind of gets in the way of actually playing with the figure, even though it doesn't really get in the way of the articulation as far as like the range on the joints or anything. It just kind of makes it more difficult to handle when it has all that stuff on. So I like to strip these dinosaurs down and get them like this, and you know, they're much more fun to play with when they have no armor on. It would be cool if they came with like soft goods or like loincloths or something that you could put onto the figures when they don't have their armor on. I think that would have been dope. Actually, I think there is a version of this figure that you could get with soft goods, but it has like pants or a tank top or something random. But it would be cool if they came with like loincloths or something that kind of fit in with the whole theme of these ancient warriors. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out the articulation on this guy because I do think they did a pretty good job with it. Starting off at the head, he does have a long ball peg in there, so we get some nice movement around like that. You can swing the head side to side, so that's cool. He can look up to about right there, which is really impressive actually. And then he can look down to about right there. And yeah, you just get a lot of good movement on this ball joint in here. You can rotate on that. And then for the torso, he does have a diaphragm cut and a ball joint at the waist. Using both of those, he's able to crunch forward a pretty decent amount. Crunch forward to about right there, which is okay. A little more would have been nice, but you know, that's not too bad. Then it goes back to about right there. It is a little gappy if you go too crazy with it, but pretty good range. And then, you know, they go side to side, which is nice on both of the joints. And then you can swivel at the waist or swivel at the diaphragm. So good stuff here at the torso. And then for the arms, he does have ball joints at the shoulders. He doesn't have like a standard butterfly joint, but he has one of those like long ball peg kind of situations, which kind of functions like a butterfly joint. We get some movement back and forth and then some shifting up and down, which is nice. It doesn't have the range of a butterfly joint, but it does offer you some other options like that up and down shifting, you know. Let's see if we get his arms in front of him a decent amount. Yeah, you can. For like sword swinging or punching or whatever. Yeah, so that's not too bad. And then, you know, you can swing his arm all the way around, which is nice. Bring his arms up a really good amount. So that's cool. And then he does have an upper bicep swivel. And he's got some weird stuff going on here at the elbow. So this is a double joint, but it just doesn't really work like one. I mean, you really only get movement out of the lower joint out of the two. So it's kind of weird. He only gets about that much bend. That's about as far as the elbow can go. So, you know, it's 90, but it is a double joint. Like, check this out. When you pop this off, you could see that it's a double joint. So that's kind of crazy. That's an interesting way to do it. Like, I kind of wish, like, I don't know. I guess they couldn't, if they made the arms longer, it wouldn't look right. But it would have been cool if they made them just long enough to where we can utilize the double joint. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Anyways, moving on. He does have a ball joint at the wrist with the hinge in it, so you could move his arm his hand like that, swivel things around, move the hand itself on that peg. You can, that ball joint's kind of tight in there, but there you go. You could swivel it side to side, so you could do that. So yeah, you have all kinds of options with the hands. And then for the legs, he's able to kick his leg up to about right there, which, dang, that's not too bad. He's got short little arms and legs. But he could kick his leg forward to about right there, bring it out to the side to about right there. We get Kung Fu Dino, bam. Pretty good range at the legs here. There is a little bit of paint rub going on. I have a couple of his little scale things right there. Look like they kind of lost some paint somewhere, but yeah, the legs have some pretty good range. So I like that there. Can go back a little bit as well. He does have a upper thigh swivel on that ball joint, so that's nice. They put it way up high, so it's pretty well hidden. And then he does have double jointed knees that bend to about right there, which that's not too bad at all, you know. His legs are kind of thick, so that's decent range. And then at the foot, he does have rocking ankles. Could bring his foot forward to right there, bring it up to right there. There's no lower leg swivel though, unfortunately. But aside from that, I feel like the legs have everything they need. And then he does have articulation here at the tail. There's like a hinge in there that goes up and down. And the tail itself has a bendy wire, but it's so big and thick that you can't really bend it too much. So, you know, it is what it is. So we get a little bit of movement there. But yeah, I would say the articulation on this guy is pretty good. I wish they could have done something a little different with the elbows, but you know, I don't know what they could have gotten out of it. I kind of wish they would have committed to something either way. Like if they were going to go single joints, it's like, okay, cool. Eh, Like what they did here is like they had a double joint situation going on, but it doesn't really work. And as a result, we have like more cuts for no reason, like cuts that don't really give us anything. So I would have preferred if they just kind of committed to a single joint, and they still would have been able to get that even if this was one piece. Like if the elbow and the upper arm were like one sculpted piece and they were just doing this, they still could have got this range. But they try to, I don't know, maybe they were trying to do a double joint and then it wouldn't work. So they just said, we'll do what we can. And that's understandable. I had to do something like that on Odious, actually. There was a joint I was hoping would work a certain way. It didn't, and we just had to kind of adjust fire. But yeah, things like that happen. Anyways, I think the articulation on him is pretty good. He's definitely fun to play around with. And yeah, he's a cool looking figure without the armor, man. When I see this, I just kind of think like, what can I do with him as far as like customizing him and turning him into something else? Because he does have a very cool like body. I like the proportions and the muscles and everything. And I'm just trying to think like, who can it be? Kind of feel, I mean, it's way too small, but it's like the perfect like design for Rhino. But yeah, man, as far as the articulation goes, I think the AxeyToys did a pretty good job on this guy. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, if you're a big fan of fantasy warriors and big dinosaurs, then I think that you will love these AxeyToys Battlefield dinosaur figures. I think they do a great job on all of them. This one right here came out really dope. I love the design. I like the armor. They always do an incredible job with the sculpting and the detail on the armor. I also like the modular pieces, how you could customize things and kind of make these guys your own. That's a lot of fun. This particular dinosaur looks really cool, even without the armor. I like the skin tone that they gave him, the red marks that kind of look like war paint, and it's just a badass looking figure. The figure is a whole lot of fun to play with. You could definitely get him into some cool poses, especially when you have the armor taken off. But even with the armor on, you could still get some pretty decent movement out of it. It's just that some of the armor is so big and bulky and, things are sliding around. It's kind of crazy and it kind of hinders just the fun factor because all that stuff gets in the way. It's still possible to get him into cool poses if you're patient enough to work around the armor, but the best way to get maximum posability out of this figure is to take off all the armor, and the body itself does have some great articulation. I really love the accessories that he comes with, especially the shield. That big old shield with the broken arrows in it is very cool. I don't think that we've seen something like that before, not from this line. Maybe some other line out there has something similar, but I don't have any shields like that with the arrows stuck in them, so that's cool. I really like having that. I think they could have done a better job with the strap on the inside. I'm not sure what's up with the upper handle because it doesn't like stay on. Thankfully, it does have that L-shaped handle that plugs into the shield and works really well, but that other handle kind of sucks. I'm not sure what they were doing there. And as far as like flaws on the figure itself, I don't really have any big complaints other than I do wish that the horn stayed in the head a little better. And honestly, that's about it. Like the figure is solid all the way around. He is a big improvement over some of the other AxeyToys dinosaurs that we've seen in the past. Like all of them have been very cool, but I did have a lot of trouble popping off the hands and the feet on previous dinosaurs from them. With this guy, you're able to take everything off very easily. I didn't have to warm up anything, so that's a lot of fun, especially for something like this when one of the big selling points is being able to remove the armor and customize things and whatever. Like that kind of goes out the window if you can't get the hands and feet off without warming things up like a crazy amount. Like the first AxeyToys dinosaur I had, I couldn't even get the feet off. Like I had to I had to heat it up like crazy and I felt like I was going to break it, and now I just don't really mess with it. But it feels like they've gotten better and better, and with this one here, like I said, I didn't even have to warm it up at all. Right out of the box, everything popped off as it should. So that's very nice. I like that they made some improvements there. Another big improvement they made, which may not be a big deal, but for me it is, because it drives me crazy when figures can't hold on to their weapons. A lot of the previous AxeyToys dinosaurs had that problem. Like they had these big old gripping hands and these big weapons, but the weapons would just kind of sit in the hands like at a weird angle and they wouldn't stay in any kind of position that made sense. That's not the case with this guy. His hands are tight enough to grip onto the weapons and everything sits where it's supposed to and looks good. And, he looks dope while he's swinging his weapons or whatever. So they did a good job with that, and it's a massive improvement over previous AxeyToys dinosaurs. But yeah, man. But yeah, like I mentioned, I really don't have any big complaints with this guy. So if this is your type of thing, I highly recommend picking it up because it is a fun figure and it definitely fits in with other cool lines like Savage Crucible and Mythic Legions and, those fantasy inspired hard lines. So this is another thing that kind of could exist in that world. But yeah, AxeyToys is killing it with these dinosaur figures. I would love to see them provide a little bit more lore to these guys, because as it is right now, we get a little bit of information off the boxes, which is very similar to Mythic Legions. But it would be cool if they had like comics or, you know, a cartoon or something that gave us a little bit more about these characters. Because as it is right now, they all just kind of feel like army builders or generic soldiers or whatever, you know? They don't really have any individual personality. It'd be cool to see them do that one of these days. But aside from that, I think they're killing it with the dinosaur figures. And yeah, man, huge thank you to AxeyToys for sending this out to me to review. I do appreciate it. If you want to pick this up, I'll leave a Big Bad Toy Store link in the description and in the pinned comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.